Welcome to this essential training video on C# conditionals, specifically designed for beginner programmers and Unity developers. Conditionals are fundamental programming constructs that allow your code to make decisions, executing different blocks of code based on whether certain conditions are met. In game development with Unity, conditionals are crucial for controlling game logic, player actions, enemy AI, and much more. Today, we'll explore two primary types: if/else statements and switch statements, demonstrating their use within Visual Studio and Unity. Let's begin with the if statement, the simplest form of conditional logic. An if statement executes a block of code only if a specified condition evaluates to true. For example, you might check if a player's health is below a certain threshold. Here in Visual Studio, we declare an integer variable player health and set it to 50. Then, we write an if statement, if player health less than 30. Inside the curly braces, we'll add debug log. Since player health is 50, which is not less than 30, this message will not be displayed. Now, let's introduce the else statement, which provides an alternative path when the if condition is false. If the player's health is not low, we might want to display a different message. With player health at 50, the else block will execute, printing player health is good. For multiple conditions, we use else if the chain checks together. Consider different health ranges: critical, warning, and healthy. This structure allows for a more nuanced response based on specific conditions. A helpful tip for beginners: always ensure your conditions are clear and cover all possible scenarios. Now, let's see if/else in action within Unity. We'll create a simple script to change an object's color based on a public variable. In Visual Studio, we'll add a public integer score and an if-else statement in update. If score is greater than 100, the object turns green, otherwise it turns red. Back in Unity, we can adjust the score variable in the inspector. Observe how the cube's color changes dynamically as the score crosses the threshold. Next, let's explore switch statements, an alternative for handling multiple conditions, especially when dealing with a single variable. A switch statement evaluates an expression and executes code blocks associated with matching case values. They are often cleaner than long if-else if chains when checking for equality against several distinct values. Here, we'll define an integer day of week and use a switch statement to print the day's name. Each case represents a possible value for day of week, and break exits the switch block. The default case acts as a fallback if no other case matches, similar to an else statement. A beginner tip: always include a default case in your switch statements to handle unexpected values gracefully. Let's integrate a switch statement into Unity to handle different item types. We'll create a script with a public item type integer and a switch statement. In Visual Studio, the switch statement will check item type and print different messages for sword, shield, or potion. We'll also include a default case for unknown item types. Back in Unity, changing the item type in the inspector will trigger different debug log outputs in the console. This demonstrates how switch statements can efficiently manage distinct states or types in your game. Let's summarize the key differences and best practices for if/else and switch statements. If/else statements are highly flexible, ideal for evaluating complex conditions involving ranges, multiple variables, or logical operators. Switch statements excel when you need to compare a single variable against a list of discrete, exact values. A common pitfall for beginners is deeply nested if statements, which can make code hard to read and maintain. Try to refactor these into else if chains or switch statements where appropriate, or use early return statements. Always prioritize clear, readable code. Your future self and any collaborators will thank you. Congratulations! You've now grasped the fundamentals of C# if/else and switch statements. These powerful tools are essential for building dynamic and interactive experiences in Unity 3D. Keep practicing by implementing these conditionals in your own Unity projects. Experiment with different conditions and scenarios to solidify your understanding. Thank you for watching, and happy coding!